Let's talk Tanya for the 24th of Sivan. In yesterday's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe laid out his case for Tzimtzum Shaloi Kipshutei. The idea that although in Kabbalah we talk about God contracting himself and removing his light in order to create space for the worlds, that's not to be taken literally. God is present everywhere in every single detail of everything. It only means that God is not revealed in this world and in creation. Now, the problem with that is, in Kabbalah we talk about two types of divine energy. There's what's called Soivav Kalalman, the light of God which surrounds and encompasses all of creation. Mimala Kalalman, which is the light of God which enters creation and permeates creation. Now, the fact that the higher infinite light of God is referred to as Soivav Kalalman, the light that surrounds creation, wouldn't that imply that Tzimtzum is Kipshutei, that contraction is to be taken literally, that God doesn't, the infinite light of God is not present in creation, but rather it surrounds creation? The Alter Rebbe explains that that's not the case, and this echoes an idea which the Alter Rebbe spoke earlier, and we talked about in Tanya in chapter 48 of Likutei Amarim. The Alter Rebbe says, Soivav Kalalman means, when we say that the light surrounds and encompasses, it doesn't mean that in a literal sense. It means that the light is not experienced and grasped and felt over here in creation. And the example that the Alter Rebbe gives over here, which is the same example the Alter Rebbe gave earlier on in Tanya, is imagine if I'm picturing something, I'm imagining something, whatever it may be. So whatever I have in my mind, pictured in my mind, is completely encompassed in my mind. At the same time, that object or person or event that I am picturing in my mind is completely oblivious to the fact that it's right now completely in my mind. That is soiviv. That's something which transcends, it encompasses, but it's not revealed within the thing. The difference, the Alter Rebbe says, is that when I'm imagining something, I'm only imagining the spiritual form of that thing. That's what I can picture in my mind. The actual physicality of that thing is not in my mind. With God, however, his knowledge contains not only the spiritual form of everything, but because the physicality itself is a product of God's knowledge, that itself also is contained within God. So we are all within God, but it's called that we are encompassed by it because it's a reality which we can't relate to. On the other hand, there's the other type of divine energy, which is called Mimala Kalalman, the light that permeates the worlds. That is the light that enters the world in a very contracted form, and it enters the world on its terms. An example from Mimala Kalalman would be, if there's an idea which I understand, it's not only that it's in my brain, but my brain grasps it. My brain understands it. Why? Because it's age appropriate and intellect appropriate, and I get it fully. Soivav Kalalman is everywhere, but we don't get it. It's not revealed, which is why it's as if it goes over our head. It's something which is beyond us, but it's everywhere in every single detail. Whereas Mimala Kalalman is the light of God which enters the world, and because it is a contracted form of the light of God, it enters the world on its terms. However, both Mimala Kalalman and Soivav Kalalman are present everywhere. That is the idea of Tzimtzum Shaloi Kipshutei. Contraction is not literal, so therefore, both modalities of divine light exist everywhere. While we're on the topic of Mimala Kalalman and the contraction of God's light in order to be able to create worlds, what exactly is the nature and the process of these contractions? The Alter Rebbe will discuss this, God willing, in tomorrow's Tanya.